shadow work.
Or bullshit. Hey, this is Ben and Kem, and we're going to talk today about stopping your growth, your journey of growth, fulfilling your life purpose, being your authentic self and walking that out when we stop that and pretend to be doing shadow work. Now, if you've been on the path of spiritual growth for a little while, shadow work is something that inevitably comes up. And what is that basically?
Yeah, it's when you're really getting in touch with all the emotions, past stuff, things that you kind of dive in deep within yourself, and just a lot of introspection.
Yeah, and this is referred to sometimes as the dark night of the soul, and it's something that we've both personally been through. But what we really want to unpack today is when you start using that as an excuse not to take action, it can actually create massive amounts of problems and stagnation, and it can hold you back from fulfilling your purpose. And we have both been going through a lot of that shadow work stuff, particularly in the past year. Like, what's that look like for you?
Yeah, well, when I first got to Australia, there was so much just time. I didn't even go out looking for jobs as much as I should have, because I was just spending time doing this shadow work, and really I was really overindulging a lot of the time, allowing it to hold me back from doing a lot of things.
Yeah, and for me, I hit this wall last year for the first time when I was having a bit of a spiritual awakening. I hit this wall and I basically had this massive emotional, mental breakdown, crisis, very, very difficult time. And that stretched out for probably about 6 months. And what I've been noticing just over the past few months is that I've gone through that difficult stuff. I've gone deeply into myself and I've pulled out some of those things that I was refusing to look at before. Like, what do I actually like doing? What am I actually here for? Why am I wasting time doing things that are distractions instead of focusing on my purpose and being authentic? So I was able to confront all that stuff and understand what it actually was. But then as I kept going through it, always thinking there was something more to uncover, I noticed that I stopped showing up as much for my clients. I stopped showing up as much for my friends. I stopped focusing on my purpose because I thought, I need to keep dealing with this stuff. And it just became a destructive cycle.
Yeah.
But when I realized what I was doing, I was able to go, you know what? Even though I'm going to continue to have emotional difficulties, I'm going to continue to have days where it feels like I just need to fall apart. That's not an excuse to stop taking action. And I think, the whole shadow side of things is a very yin, feminine part of your journey into spiritual growth. And I think you could probably talk a bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely part of us that wants to slow things down, to get in touch with who we really are, uncover our own truths, especially when we feel like we've had to hide a lot of ourselves, or if we feel like we've been oppressed, or told to be something that we're not. We really want to slow things down and look at ourselves and flow with our emotions, but we do have to learn to balance that masculine and feminine energy. And the more masculine energy we talk about is the more doing side of things.
Yeah, and one of the great insights that I got from listening to a book called Everyday Enlightenment, highly recommend you check out that book by Dan Millman, was that we actually can't control our emotions or our thoughts. We can definitely guide them, we can definitely channel them, allow them to teach us,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, you can't control your emotions and your thoughts. The only thing you can actually control is your behavior, what you actually do. So learning to integrate your shadow so that you don't need to get to crisis point before everything falls apart and you have to become a blubbering mess who's completely dysfunctional every way, like I was. If you can actually schedule time for your shadow stuff, once a week or once a fortnight, where you just take half a day or a full day to sit down and really introspect, really ask yourself, am I still on point here? Am I still focusing on what's important? Schedule it in so it's a part of your regular experience. Then you won't have to, just be trudging away for years on end or months on end, never listening to yourself, and then finally having a breakdown and ruining questioning everything for yourself and all the people around you,
Yeah.
you can just make it part of your everyday experience.
And also, if you're taking time to be reflective and have that introspective moment weekly or fortnightly, then you also won't feel like you're betraying yourself by not listening to your emotions, by not slowing down. So we're by no means saying not to do that. It's just to have that balance of the introspection and also the doing.
Exactly. So if you're in a place right now where you're finding yourself unable to take action, right? There might be some things you know you need to do, you know you need to deal with, or you know that you just need to take practical action, the more yang aspect of your spiritual journey, of your fulfilling your life purpose. How can you actually do this?
Yeah.
Well, keep yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Write a list of the things that you know you need to do, the actions you know you need to take. And when the emotions of resistance come up, which they inevitably will, because there's always going to be resistance, especially around the area of your life purpose, fulfilling your soul purpose, or whatever you want to call that, there's always going to be resistance there, because that's the whole point you're here on earth.
Yeah.
Because you need to learn to work through that resistance. So every time that comes up, acknowledge it, which is I think where a lot of people go wrong, which is where I used to go wrong, is, I'd get resistance and be like, you know what, I don't feel like talking to these people today.
Maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, but I wouldn't acknowledge it. I'd just go and talk to them anyway. And then that built up self-resentment because I wasn't listening to myself.
Yeah.
So the key is listen to it, acknowledge it, but then take action anyway.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's almost like the opposite. A lot of the times, the resistance, the fears, all these different thoughts and feelings would come up, and a lot of the times I would be thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, and then I'd get stuck and go into this, shadow work, and I'd miss out on so many opportunities.
And it really just like narrows your lens and brings you just into this little single point of view.
Yeah.
And you block everything out. You delete, distort, and generalize everything else that's going on.
And it becomes a life of shadow work and shadow work only.
And you're just dragging your sack of shadows around behind you everywhere you go. So start to take action whilst acknowledging the resistance.
Yeah.
Don't shut it out, but just keep going.
Even if you're having a day where you plan to do something, like this week I've had that, to keep myself accountable, had this list of things to do, but feelings of resistance rose up, and I just paid mindfulness to them. And later on, when I came home, after still having done those things, I kind of reflected on that and saw like what that was teaching me, but was still able to take action.
Because I think a lot of the time when we're talking about shadow work, we're talking about inner child stuff. And so a lot of the time your shadow isn't actually this part of you which is trying to tell you, oh, this is fundamentally wrong, you shouldn't be doing this. A lot of the time it's just your inner child going, I'm scared, or I don't understand this, and you just need to make space for that inner child while you take action.
Also the ego.
The ego,
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got something great from that. Whatever you're doing, whatever you know you're meant to be here doing, go out and do it.
Have that balance.
Have the balance. And look, a great thing is accountability.
Yeah.
If you don't have people around you in your life, reach out to us.
Yeah.
Reach out to someone who you know understands you, knows you, loves you, and will hold you accountable to doing the things you say you're going to do that are in your best interest and are the best thing for this world. Because the world needs you to stand up and do your thing.
So does. We need your voice.
Oh! So I hope you enjoyed that. Please share it with a friend, tag someone, leave some comments describing what you got out of this. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you'd like to find out more about living your authentic path, becoming your authentic self, we've got an amazing course out called the Authentic Self 10-Day Transformation.
Yeah.
So comment below, I'm in, or shoot us a message saying you're interested, you'd like to hear more. Look forward to seeing you there. See you on the next video.